Valley is probably a good sit down, spend time when you need to recuperate.
Yeah, because it's low stress most of the time.
Hmm.
I'm gonna.
Um, yeah,
I'll
you can
let you
just play
guys
that
know.
game and vibe.
We're starting to go live, but I'll let you know when the thing actually starts.
It's loading up.
It's loading up, and I'm gonna share it on Facebook. Um, I'm gonna put it in the movie club, the whole thing, man, the whole thing.
Yeah, I basically picked up Ori and the Will o' the Wisp on sale recently.
Oh, for
I
the
just
lunar
burned,
sale?
huh?
The lunar sale?
Yeah, and I just burned through that in like 6 days.
Excellent. Oh, you got this before the lunar sale then.
Yeah, the lunar sale actually picked up. I finally picked up Call of the Sea. It was on sale.
Right, and
Even though I still have Horizon Zero Dawn to finish up.
all right, guys, let's talk about WandaVision. So episode 6. What did you think about it?
I liked it. It was my favorite era. I personally love the 90s. Now that I'm an old curmudgeon, I like the 90s better than the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if
And-
you're old, what am I? I think I'm older than you. Let's
Yeah, I
not.
know.
Let's not. Yeah. Let's not think too much.
Let's
about
not dwell on that.
Yeah.
I really liked it with just with like the vibe, and I think once again they absolutely nailed the aesthetic.
Was that Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah,
very much
it was Malcolm in the Middle, and that
Oh,
that was so
right.
great.
I'm glad I got that reference. It wasn't a show that I watched a lot from the 90s. But
Oh,
I
Malcolm in
think
the
I
Middle is so
unfair.
good.
is it?
Yeah.
Well, also just like, between Bryan Cranston and Jane Cash, I can't pronounce her last name.
Was
But,
Bryan
one-
Cranston in it? I
Yeah,
think he was the
Hal.
dad, right?
Yeah, he was the dad.
He was
Oh boy. Holy crap. That's the guy from Breaking Bad. How different is that?
Mhm. You know, I have a theory, Bruno,
Yeah.
that Malcolm in the Middle is the follow-up to Breaking Bad.
right.
So
Follow-up?
yeah, so when Bryan Cranston dies at the end of Breaking Bad, he's actually not dying. He is faking his death and moving into the witness protection program, where he takes a second life as Hal in Malcolm in the Middle.
So basically, the guy from Malcolm in the Middle, the dad, was like actually this huge math dealer in the past, and now he's
Yep.
just living.
And being
Yeah.
a goofy dad is his like cover gig.
That's a pretty awesome theory. I like that theory.
Yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense. That might be true.
But yeah, no, this era is definitely they definitely pushed it forward into a 90s vibe with Malcolm in the Middle, which was that also late 2000s or
I think it ran into the early 2000s.
Malcolm in the Middle, I'm pretty sure
Let's
that
see.
was early 2000s, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2000, 2006.
Oh, it started in 2000.
Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah,
it's a little bit bold of them.
To do what?
Well, I feel like if they wanted to go for like a firmly 90s sitcom, I don't know, Roseanne would have come to mind.
I mean, I think like definitely the whole kid part of it was very Malcolm in the Middle-ish.
Oh, totally.
The rest,
Even like the intro when they start, where Tommy and Billy are like looking at the camera and narrating for like the intro, that is very Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, that's how I know that reference. That's how I got that reference, because otherwise, I mean, I didn't watch the show a lot, but that that entrance or that that beginning, I thought Malcolm in the Middle, even though I haven't watched it a lot.
I mean, some of it. I mean, there's a little bit of Full House in there too, and so like
I got more of a Full House vibe from the last episode with like
Me too, yeah.
just
I
like with
agree.
the intro music. But like definitely Full House for sure.
But I think you're kind of right, Ian, in the sense that they could have used the 90s a little bit more, maybe keep Malcolm in the Middle and wait one episode to do that one, even though it's great. But they could have done something like Friends or something like that, or I don't know, like something more family-like maybe. But
Yeah, what's a family one from the 90s?
I mean, I feel like Friends doesn't work because it's not about family. It's about friends.
true. But what's a family one from the 90s?
Um,
Maybe that's what the problem was, that there isn't
Boy
one.
Meets World.
Boy Meets World, Roseanne.
Roseanne, yeah, they could go
maybe
with-
Everybody
they could
Loves
go with that.
Raymond, but I feel like that's early to mid 2000s.
What about-
my
what about
favorite
Alf?
is
Alf?
The Adventures of Pete and Pete from that time. So,
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
Wasn't Alf from the 90s?
yeah.
Or I have one, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was the 90s, right?
That was the 90s, but it was I mean, it was like it definitely didn't have white people in it,
Yeah, black people. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the problem.
which
I keep finding.
I think
sitcoms
was
that
like
don't
one of the major themes was like like black culture and
What
the
about-
diversity of it in the 90s.
Yeah, you're right. But what about Elf? Was that the 90s?
Alf?
Yeah, with that dog creature from a different.
So is Pietro.
Dude, I never
Alf?
watched any Alf.
Really, that was a good one. Also, Third Rock from the Sun. That would have been a
Ooh.
good one.
That's with John Lithgow.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, now that I think about it, family sitcoms in the 90s are maybe never were not good. There's not really a great fit to put into this. 'Cause again,
Maybe they just had this conversation, and they couldn't find a good one, so they just went with Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Also, it feels very 90s. It doesn't really feel like the 2000s. The whole aesthetics was definitely more 90s than 2000s, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all of the best parts of the 90s were like the late 90s.
True. Except
Right,
for Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, especially from like a family context, I think all of the important stuff happened after like 1995.
Hmm.
Also, PlayStation, that was like mid 90s, right? But more like late 90s as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the 90s were definitely like the era where like consoles were firmly dead and or where arcades were dead and home consoles were like clearly the winner in that market.
Yeah, and I said PlayStation, that was more late 90s, so that's more something to your point as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a golden era of television. Like everybody had access to television and everybody loved the same shows. Like the economy was doing well, so it was just like I think it was a much more fondly remembered era of American history.
Yeah, it was a great decade. But I would say the golden era of television is more like 2000s, early 2000s, because that's when you get stuff like The Sopranos, more so than the 90s, I think. Even though like sitcom wise, it's not family related, but Seinfeld, Friends, like I said before, the best sitcoms are from the 90s.
Oh. So now I think I know. If I want to know, I'm going to put a prediction out here.
Uh-huh.
So this episode we had the cutaways. That was like a very like 90s, early 2000s sitcom thing where like they'd say something and then they'd cut away to another scene.
Oh, sure.
So the next one we're gonna have confessionals. The pseudo
Oh, like the mockumentary style, like
Yeah.
The Office.
Reality TV
Like
or The Office.
The
Well-
Office, Parks and Rec were like
Oh, that's a
the
good
confessional.
prediction.
I'm thinking
That's-
that might be next episode.
I like that prediction. That is not bad at all.
That is a very good prediction.
Man, I feel like we should have been predicting like what tropes are we gonna see.
Yeah.
We should have predicted sitcoms, but I guess we didn't really know that they were gonna really take one specific sitcom and use it.
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely the stuff that we saw between the end of last episode and this one where like the relative comes and really throws everything through a loop,
Uh-huh.
You had that with like, or I think that was a big thing. Like, and it's usually someone's brother who comes.
Yeah, I mean it fits perfectly. Because like with Pietro, he perfectly plays into the eldest brother. in
Yes,
Malcolm in the
and
Middle, who is like living in the house and then
True,
leaves
that's a
because of
great
a
point.
fallout with the family.
That's a great point.
so
Yeah.
I think this is a good transition to actual story points here. Um, the Pietro in this is very interesting because he seems to know what's going on.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's true. He seems to
So,
know more than the other people.
like for a
yeah,
little bit there, I was wondering, oh, is he also like Vision, a reanimated dead person? And they're
I
just
mean that's
like,
kind of the question. Is like,
right, but the
what is
fact,
he?
but the fact that he's almost reveling in like and like just making all these snide comments to Wanda over and over is like, okay, I'm getting major villain vibes from him. Whoever is pretending to be Pietro, who seems to know all this stuff,
Uh-huh.
I'm getting villain vibes here.
Yeah, I could definitely see villain vibes. I think it's a good way to possibly introduce that because for the entirety of this episode, when we're on what, episode 5?
6.
6. For all of episode 6, it fits very well with Pietro's character of like being this, like snide, arrogant, irreverent,
Mm.
slacker type in a lot of ways. And like it fits in very well as somebody who's just like so crass, and it makes it really hard to tell if he's if it is a villain or if it's just like his character. But I think outside of his character, the questions he asks and his manner of speaking still indicate that he knows a lot that nobody else in Westview has known so far.
Right. And I think the contrast with Vision, who has no memories prior to Westview. So, like, we know that both these characters are dead, but one of them has no memories. The other apparently does. And so that to me is where I'm like, uh, this doesn't, my Spidey sense is tingling way strong on
I'm gonna bet against you, Daniel. I don't think he's the villain. I think he's and I might be wrong. That's why it's a bet. You might be right. He might be the villain, but I don't think so. I think he's the connection to the multiverse. I think he's the first character that is going to be introduced in this multiverse thing.
I don't think those can be mutually exclusive. I feel like
True, but I don't think he's the villain.
whoever this villain is has a connection to the multiverse and is pulling from that because Pietro's memories are different than Wanda's.
Is that some whiskey, Ian?
Mhm.
Oh man, now I want to get some whiskey too.
Cheers, man.
I have water. That's super lame.
That's what I'm going to need in a few minutes.
But
I,
no,
I
so,
don't think he's the villain. I think he's the guy from the X-Men, and who's the hero. Quicksilver is a good guy. So he's just kind of like irreverent, snarky. But I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, I think you guys both raised some fantastic points that namely it's not necessarily mutually exclusive. They can certainly introduce an antagonist, which they haven't really done. They
maybe
introduced
the
the sword guy.
yeah,
I forget his name.
which again makes him not a great villain.
I don't think
Right.
he's the villain. I don't think I think he's like he's working for someone. I think we haven't seen the villain yet. I don't think it's Quicksilver either.
Well, and then the other question is, do you consider Wanda to be the villain? Like, who's the antagonist here? Because in a lot of ways, she has antagonized this situation.
I mean, she's an antagonist here, but she may also be somebody who, like, I think this is where there's a redemption arc here for her in coming to terms with her trauma, because clearly I feel like she's being taken advantage of, and
Okay.
someone is, but to me, I mean, that's so to like put like certain cards on the table here. If we actually go by stuff that has happened in the comics, there's several things here that lead me to be down for a certain villain. Basically, in the comics, there is a character known as Mephisto, who is in the Marvel universe sort of the equivalent of like the devil, but he has a very long history with Wanda. Um, he is the reason why the twins, like her twins, exist in the comics. Like he basically, he's responsible for that.
Is he the dad?
No, he basically
That would be fucked up if they were the demon spawn, devil spawn.
he makes her wish for kids come true. And so this is almost like
So she has a pact with the devil.
sort of is how I remember it. But
That's some
so
heavy
the
stuff.
fact that they have the same two kids that she has in the comics, the fact that he basically in the comics he basically appears to heroes at their lowest point and manipulates them to give them something they ostensibly want, but to take advantage of it. And this seems to be screaming that more and more with the appearance of the kids, with them having the same powers they have in the comics. And so, and the fact that like, and when Pietro has his Halloween getup and he's got almost like horns with his hair, just makes me think that this guy is running in the guise of Pietro.
Oh, you know what they should use as well? They should use the Incredibles because they could be the Incredible family.
There was actually a reference to the Incredibles in this episode.
Yes.
Really, I missed that. What's the reference?
I'm glad you saw it too, Dan. It was when they were at the town square and they were doing the Halloween party. There on the movie marquee was the Incredibles.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I forgot what the other
did
one
see
was.
That. Yeah.
No, I just remember I have a note that's like, wait, did they just show something for the Incredibles?
I don't remember the other
Which
one.
implies that this movie, that episode anyways, takes place in like what, 2004?
Yeah, I got confused by that because I was certain at that point that it was the 90s.
Yeah, 2004 film.
Yeah.
I forgot what the other movie was that was on the marquee.
Me too.
And I can't remember.
I can't remember.
It's gonna drive me crazy now.
It is driving me crazy too. What was the other movie, man? Ah,
I remember.
that's upsetting. We'll have to figure it out after the podcast because it is upsetting.
It was a short name because visually it was much fewer characters than the Incredibles, and that's all I remember.
I don't think it was a super famous movie either.
No, it was definitely like a top movie for that year.
Oh, was it?
So I was like, oh, I've heard of both of those movies.
Huh.
But yeah,
I don't know. Whatever. I'll do some research here. Try to find it.
But yeah, this is so yeah. Like I said, just putting my cards on the table on why I'm getting. I kind of don't know if I wanted to go that route. I don't know if the character of Mephisto is someone that I like for the MCU. But they could be just leaning really heavily into the supernatural and magic stuff after going full on, alien extraterrestrial stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can approach the situation a couple of different ways. You can do the not fun, like no fun, like neckbeard sweat lord on Reddit, where you look at the like 2021 and 2022 list of build movies coming out of Disney, and you can just be like, okay, well, based on these movies, they're going to have Doctor Strange, another Spider-Man, Shang-Chi. We can infer that it's not going to be like X, Y, and Z possibilities, which really sucks because the possibility I want is that Magneto comes back somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I just want Magneto.
I think I want this very much to be like, this is the part where we start crossing over and bringing,
I want the X-Men,
the Fantastic Four. I am
hold off on the Fantastic Four. Let's start with the X-Men.
Yeah. I am holding out hope that Monica Rambeau's astrophysicist friend that she knows or whatever, who's someone who they keep teasing. I don't know why I have this sneaking suspicion that it's Reed Richards. But they've mentioned him. They mentioned somebody she knows twice, and I'm like, that's like a Chekhov's gun that like it's got to be something, or maybe they introduce a new character who they haven't yet, but like it feels
It's definitely got to be a Brainiac role, and there are only so many of those in the Marvel universe.
All right. By the way, it's The Parent Trap, which is a
Yeah.
1998 movie.
Oh,
And I haven't seen that movie, so that's why I couldn't remember.
Wait, there's like 4 different versions of The Parent Trap.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any of them. I'm pretty sure. I've
Well,
seen
that would have
it.
been the Lindsay Lohan version.
Yeah.
I've seen it playing. I've seen it
canonical.
announced in Disney Plus. So they are leveraging those things because I saw it in the Disney Plus thing. Like that was one of the movies that they were featuring. So I think they're kind of like playing an inside joke, you know, oh, we're gonna have this in WandaVision and we're gonna announce it or feature it in the Disney Plus layout. So I think they're, and maybe they did the same thing with The Incredibles, but I'm not sure. But I certainly saw them doing that with The Parent Trap, which I
By
have
the way,
never
I'm
seen.
exaggerating. There was only 2 versions of the movie. For some reason, I thought this is one that
Yeah.
they remade a lot.
What is it
like?
like?
Friday.
What is it about? I have no
Parent Trap?
idea.
So,
what that movie is.
So Lindsay Lohan plays 2 separate characters that are identical twins that get separated at birth, and each one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then they switch to try and get their parents back together. Like
that was when
her and her
Lindsay
sister meet up. It's basically sister, the white version of the movie.
Right. Yeah. It's Lindsay Lohan when she wasn't a damaged individual.
Yeah. Freaky Friday is the movie that has like 4 or 5 different versions.
Freaky Friday?
Yeah.
That one I don't know either.
That's the one where like a parent and their kid switch bodies.
Oh, of course I know that one. Yeah. There's 5 different versions.
There's like, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a body swap trope, and that's
Shazam is sort of, no, not really, not quite. No.
We could do a whole episode on Shazam. I love that movie, but
we should do a whole review of body swap movies.
Yes.
We should do that. Yeah. That's good.
Oh man, you can go all the way like Face Off.
There was
Face Off. They're doing a remake of that movie, which is a terrible idea.
There was the bromance body swap movie, the Change Up, featuring who's the Deadpool guy, Ryan Reynolds, and the dad from Arrested Development.
Is that?
And in the movie, in order to like swap bodies, they're both drunk and they're peeing into a fountain and their streams cross, and that's what like swaps them.
Oh, that sounds great. I should watch that.
It's awful.
It's great. No, it's awful. Did you guys know that isn't Paul Rudd the guy that plays Ant-Man?
Yeah.
That guy is in Friends. That guy's like Phoebe's boyfriend in Friends. And I was watching Friends the other day, and I totally forgot it was him.
Deeper cut, go all the way back to Clueless. He was the boy in Clueless.
Never seen Clueless. Never heard of it.
Never seen Clueless.
You wait, really?
I'm clueless.
I'm clueless.
Wow.
We're both clueless, man. And you know what started it, Dan? I was thinking about Paul Rudd. He looks like you, man, or you look like him. You both look like each other, don't you think, Ian?
Hold up a minute. Let me.
It says Paul Rudd.
You definitely look like
Paul Rudd. Looks at like 50, the same age that he does. He was like 20.
Paul Rudd definitely has a baby face. That's for sure.
I think they look very similar.
Paul Rudd looks like the kind of guy who smokes pot, but has like a 6-figure salary in an office.
That's just like Dan. It's exactly like Dan. I'm going to get Dan fired.
No. Yeah, that's fine. Like if I met Paul Rudd, like if I walked into a new job and I was like, hey, Paul, like, nice to meet you. I'm Ian. He's like, hey, man. And then like, I realized like 2 weeks later, he smokes like an ounce of weed a month.
Yeah.
I'd be like, how are you my supervisor's boss?
That
like that's the face that Paul Rudd gives off to me.
I'm totally joking, guys. Don't fire Dan, please.
Dan has the same face, but looks like he needs a little bit of a nap sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm perpetually that way. I average 5 hours of sleep.
But I guess
he definitely looks like Paul
to your
Rudd.
credit, like you're not totally off basis there, Bruno.
No, I'm not. I think they look the same. Well, not the same, but
if I met Paul Rudd and
similar,
Dan introduced him to me as like your dad, I'd be like, damn, all right.
Yeah. for sure.
Yeah, there's an interesting history with him in Missouri actually, because he's like him and Paul and not and John Hamm have a weird little rivalry going between Kansas City and St. Louis, because John Hamm, Kansas City, is St. Louis, and Paul
He's
Rudd.
the Madman guy, right?
Yeah. But regardless, though, I'm curious to see if, well, actually, because Jimmy Woo, the character from this, is actually from the Ant-Man movies, who I very much appreciate in this show. But it'd be interesting if we get a Paul Rudd cameo in here from him.
Where's that girl from? The girl, the
Thor
Thor
movies.
girl? Yeah, like is she in something else? She
Oh,
looks widely familiar.
the
and I
Goth
just-
GF. She was in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. And
Oh, I've seen that movie as well.
She was
Like-
the daughter.
yeah, she was the daughter of the guy that Steve Carell was dating, and that was like the
Right.
first time I ever saw her in like a movie.
Well, there you go.
She had a show
seen her in
on
stuff.
CBS for a while.
Oh, Two Broke Girls.
Yeah.
I don't know how I remember that.
And
I don't think I've seen
I
that.
can't tell you her name.
Kat Dennings.
Kat
And I also-
Dennings.
I also can't figure out, is she good looking or not?
Yeah, definitely.
Is she?
Sure, absolutely.
I would agree. But she's
I gotta look at the picture.
she's been in a lot of things. She's actually like,
What's her name? Kat Dennings?
yeah, Kat Dennings. So she's like, and like I said, I'm happy that she's getting more to do, because she didn't get much to do in the Thor movies other than be the bewildered person who's just like, oh hey, look, there's Mjolnir. It's just
Dude,
flying.
she's actually very good looking.
Yeah, she's stunning.
Yeah, like they make her ugly in that show.
Well, that's the idea, that if you're a PhD student and you're supposed to.
I wonder if that's on purpose, because I mean, she's like,
She definitely has the
She's
archetype
incredible.
of like the overqualified, underpaid millennial.
Yeah, she plays that well.
She plays that very well.
And no, I appreciate her in this, and I
I
especially
think the glasses
appreciate-
mess her up.
Oh,
I'm gonna be very curious to see what happens now that she's in the hex. Which, if we're gonna talk about people going in between the hexes, they're definitely setting up Monica Rambeau's superhero stuff, with now the fact that her body is apparently forever changed from going in and out of the hex.
Oh, is that what that was?
I'm guessing that this
Oh.
is teasing that she's going to.
What superhero is she?
Well, at one point she was Captain Marvel,
Really?
but I think they're gonna go more with her. Like, she had this bioluminescence power that was like more of her trademark power.
Wasn't Captain Marvel a man at some point? Wasn't that
different,
like in
different comic book?
oh
That
different?
was
comic book.
actually, so the character of Shazam.
Oh yeah, Shazam was Captain Marvel, right?
He had to shit. I just know that, like, I mean, for a while he was actually the most popular
So-
comic series.
DC changed the name so people wouldn't, so because it was too confusing, right?
DC didn't change the name. Basically, they had to change the name on their own, because it wasn't part of DC at that point. DC only acquired them much later when they bought that comic.
Oh, they didn't have that was a different comic.
Yeah, I forget who had.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know that they acquired like. But it makes sense though.
Yeah, he was from Fawcett Comics. Yeah.
Fawcett Comics. So yeah.
And then DC acquired them, and there was a whole legal dispute because of him being sort of a copyright infringement on Superman.
On Superman. Yeah, I mean I can see that. They're
Natalie
pretty-
Portman was in Thor.
Yeah,
Man, I can't believe she was Jane Foster.
You don't remember that, man?
Thor came out 10 years ago.
That's true.
So get this:
That's true.
the next Thor movie is they're going to do Mighty Thor, which means Jane.
She's
Foster
gonna be
with
Thor.
Thor powers.
She's
know
gonna
who I
be Thor,
want?
right? Which is
I want Beta Ray Bill.
Yes, he's coming to the MCU.
Oh,
But I think he's gonna be in. I think he's gonna be in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Who is?
That's
Because
fine.
that's where Thor will be.
Beta Ray Bill.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Okay. He's like one of the goofier. This is how I know Marvel is really
Beta
just
Ray
like
Bill.
how they like everything they touch turns into gold.
Yeah.
Beta Ray
because-
Bill.
Beta Ray Bill. He was like this like single cell organism or something that was like barely considered sentient life.
Dude, you gotta share that. You gotta share. I'm gonna
All right.
share it. You gotta all participants.
He's one of the few people
share.
worthy enough to wear it to wield Mjolnir.
Yeah. So Mjolnir, the hammer itself, gets to decide who wields it. That's why in like Hulk versus Thor, Thor can just put the hammer onto Hulk's chest and Hulk straight up can't move because Hulk's not capable of wielding it and it absolutely doesn't move.
By the way, let me share.
Earth 616. Here we
Let
go.
me share. First, let me share.
Here, go to. I'll send you the link.
Look. No, I want you to share it so people can see it. First, let me share Kat Dennings. I mean, she definitely looks a lot different than she does in the show.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Look
these
at that.
are
It's completely
pictures of like, you know, black tie affairs and you know, like photo shoots.
No, but she looked. I mean, she looked.
That's some
look at that.
Photoshop.
That's Photoshop.
Yeah, I
That is
hope so.
200%
That's way too much.
Photoshop.
Yeah, that's way too much. But look at that.
But like, look at her like Twitter picture, right? Like she
I
paid
mean,
a
she
photographer.
doesn't
for
look
it, but,
anything like it. I think it's the glasses, but I think they make her ugly.
That's
and
Billie
pretty.
Eilish next to her.
Yeah.
No, like the Twitter picture in the middle.
But look at that. I mean, she's. I mean, it's a very different thing.
Yeah, I guess I don't buy like the concept of just throwing glasses on a beautiful woman, being like, oh, now she's just like this quirky spinster.
They must do something else to her as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they don't like dress her up sexy. She's not like portrayed as like a sexual character the same way that like Black Widow is, for example.
Maybe they do like some ugly girl makeup or something like that. I don't know. She definitely looks different. Anyways,
All right.
you got to
Beta Ray
share the
Bill.
other thing.
On to the real
Bill-
gem of this discussion is Beta
yeah, the
Ray
Bill
Bill.
gem.
Kat Dennings is great, but Beta Ray Bill is my homie.
All right.
Here's the share button.
Also, Wanda, she keeps getting cuter in every episode.
I love how they had her and Vision in classic costumes
Oh, the classic costumes are great.
and done in ways like the fact they call Vision's a luchador outfit.
Mhm.
What do you mean classic costumes? Classic in what sense?
From
Like-
like the 80s edition of the comics.
Yeah.
80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, like her headgear was straight out of that.
Oh, really?
I don't have
color
the ability
scheme.
to share, Bruno.
You don't?
No. At least I don't think I do.
Even Pietro as Quicksilver's
You can
outfit
share it.
was very.
Where's my share button?
It's on top, I think. I'm pretty sure. I changed it so you can share it.
Oh, it's at the bottom. I see it.
Yeah, it's at the
of
bottom, yeah.
Share screen.
Bottom, the middle, share screen. It's a green button.
Yeah. Colorblind here. Here we go.
Oh, it's in the middle. It's like at the bottom in the middle.
All right. So this is Beta Ray Bill.
It's a girl.
Well,
No.
now I'm seeing a Kat Dennings thing.
Oh,
Oh. How's that?
no.
Nah, we got it now. Yeah.
All right.
This
Now
is
we're
it?
getting someone.
All right. So Beta Ray Bill was like this. He's from the Burning Galaxy. It gets destroyed. So this is what Beta Ray Bill looks like. When he picks up the hammer of Thor, when he picks up Mjolnir, he just gets transformed into like his own Thor corp.
Oh.
Let's see here.
So is he a
Which I'm
villain?
sad
Or,
there's no more Mjolnir.
is he a villain or a hero?
He's a hero. Yeah, here we go. Beta Ray Bill could be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Why does he look like a demon? If he's a hero.
Because he was just like this weird goofy organism that like randomly showed up and just happened to touch the hammer of Thor, and the hammer was just like, "Yep, you're worthy of wielding it." And then
like a little sperm that touched Thor's
pretty
hand?
much,
Oh boy.
I wonder if I can find.
So Matt Damon has been cast in
Yeah.
an undisclosed role for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Really, Matt Damon. He must be a
So-
villain because he's not going to be Thor, right? So
Can I play the
must be
clip
main villain.
of the Incredible Hulk beating the absolute piss out of Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Play it away.
So this is on Hulk World, I believe. So Hulk World was this whole thing where all of the Avengers realized that Hulk was too insanely powerful. So they knocked him out, like they tranquilized him with an assload of PCP, and they built this special spaceship and just shot him straight into outer space. And they're like, we don't know where it's going. And then he comes to, like Bruce Banner comes to, and he's just like strapped to this like ship. And there's this message playing from Captain America saying like, you know, we're sending you out into the space. You're too dangerous for Earth, Cap, or for Earth, Bruce. And he ends up on this planet, which is like this gladiator planet, and like the civilization just enslaves Hulk and like puts him in this stadium where he has to fucking battle all the time.
It's like Thor Ragnarok.
Actually, yeah, they used part of the Planet Hulk storyline with
with Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie. But they should do a movie just about that, Planet Hulk.
They can.
And they should do Beta Ray Bill.
I don't think they own the licensing.
Universal.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Universal will not allow a solo Hulk movie to be made by Marvel.
Why don't they just sell the license and be done with it? Give them
Make
$1 billion
too much money.
so they can.
Because they want to get bought out by Disney.
Give them like $500 million. It's good deal for both parties.
Disney will just buy him out in a couple of years to make another Hulk movie.
Yeah, they'll keep buying studios.
So yeah, this is Beta Ray Bill. I could be a little out of date on the Thor lore.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong. Honestly, like, it's just exciting that they're planning to use him in Thor: Love and Thunder, and the fact that the only actor who they haven't said what his role is Matt Damon makes me wonder if he's going to be Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, that would be cool. He kind of looks like Matt Damon. If Matt Damon is having a bad day.
Yeah, man. You know, I always looked at Matt Damon and said to myself, he looks like a muscly seahorse.
Yeah.
I was totally kidding. He doesn't look like Matt Damon. Matt Damon's a handsome guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like who they have confirmed for that movie because it comes out next year, and I don't know. I'm excited for that one. I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. I felt like that one sort of redeemed the movies that they'd done with Thor up until then.
Oh man, I love the Thor movies, man. They're all great. But I agree, that one is the best one. I don't know. I do like the first one. I thought that was a really cool movie.
The first one was well made enough, and it was better than it needed to be, is what I say. Like the second one, I just find to be boring.
Dark World?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would say so too.
I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I just felt like it had a very like, and it had a no-name villain. Like I just could not remember the name and had no care.
It was just the blue goblins, right?
I think I would say the Thor Dark World did a better job at casting Tom Hiddleston as a gray hero.
Yeah.
Which, like, to be fair, he truly deserves. Like, Tom Hiddleston is just a fine specimen of a man. I think they're, you know, setting up in a lot of ways, but as far as being like a remarkable chapter in like the Marvel movie timeline, here it is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor just absolutely like goes ham bones on him.
Man, this is like Fight Club. You know when Tyler Durden is destroying that pretty blonde guy, Jared Leto.
Yeah, what I would say, like for
Not as gruesome though,
All right.
and
Beta
it
Ray
helps
Bill.
that Beta Ray Bill was ugly to start with.
yeah, so yeah, definitely things to look forward to in the future for the MCU with that. Um,
I think WandaVision is actually the first thing in Phase 4. I read
at
that
this
somewhere.
point, yes, it was supposed to be Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that got pushed back.
Okay.
Um,
Well, WandaVision looks a lot more interesting than that show. I don't think I'm gonna watch that.
I will, just mostly because I'm very excited about one actor in it, but I am worried that is going to be the weakest of them.
Yeah.
I am
I'm-
much more. I mean, all of these seem to be shows that are setting things up for the future. This one, we're very clearly getting set up for Monica Rambeau to return in the next Captain Marvel movie, and for Wanda to be a big part of Doctor Strange. Like these are movies giving. These are almost like um, supplemental stuff to get you ready for the next phase of the Marvel movies. But this is at least doing something interesting with the characters.
Yeah, I mean that might be the case, but honestly, this show, I find it more amusing than most Marvel movies.
Right.
It's I haven't really seen a Marvel movie that I found like really interesting in probably years, you know. So and I find this show interesting, and I really like the fact that in every episode we get a different time setting. You know, we get to see Wanda wearing a costume from a different decade. Like the whole setting is different from each decade.
Man, next year is the next Captain Marvel as well. Man, there's 4 movies next year.
Dang.
I don't know. There's so many movies. With COVID though, half of them get postponed to the next year, so you never know. Until
Well,
until we go back to normal, you don't really know which movies you're gonna get.
Yes and no. I think there's still like a timeline for it.
Yeah, we got 4 coming out this year and 4 coming out.
Well, there's a timeline. Before it was a timeline, like you knew that was gonna happen. Now it's maybe it'll happen.
Wait, there might be 5 movies next year.
No, that's
2022.
Yeah,
they wouldn't do that because they would lose money if they did
because you got Doctor Strange in March, Thor in May, Black Panther 2 in July, Captain Marvel 2 in November, and then also the next Ant-Man is that year.
that.
The next
This
what?
This year it's Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Spider-Man.
I feel like
There's 4
That's
this
insane.
year. That's a lot.
Yeah. We have 9 movies coming out in the next 2 years, apparently.
I think some of those are going to get postponed. You can quote me on that. I doubt it. I doubt that they're going to release 9 movies in 2 years.
Well, I think they're
what's the next one coming out? Do they have like a
Black Widow in May,
in May?
Shang-Chi in July, Eternals in November, Spider-Man, the next one in December.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's too many movies. That's that makes no sense. I don't think they're going to release 9 movies in 2 years. If I'm wrong, you can say I'm stupid, but I really don't think so.
I'm just surprised that a new Doctor Strange isn't keyed up already because of WandaVision. But
I like the Halloween setting as well. That was fun. It's
oh yeah, classic. Was it good? It allowed you to have the costumes.
Yeah,
I mean, who doesn't love Halloween like episodes?
True.
Halloween is just the best holiday in general.
That's true. I do like Christmas. Christmas is cool as well, but Halloween.
I'm over Christmas now.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas movies. I watch Christmas movies every year. This year, I watched all 3 Home Alone movies, which I have seen already.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how many times. So many.
I watched it for the Donald Trump cameo.
Donald Trump cameo. Oh, recently he resigned from the Actors Guild or whatever it is, the Actors Association.
Donald Trump was in the Actors Guild.
Yeah. Which is very silly.
Like because he was in the movie.
like who even knew that he was in that thing, and he just
I've
needs some
known. I
attention.
always remember that because that's my favorite Home Alone. I liked Home Alone in New York more than the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like the original is really good, and Home Alone 2 is just like a shot for shot remake, but
Yeah.
in New York City of the
True.
first one.
That's
I
exactly
like
what
New
it is.
York. And
I mean, I
so
like New York also, but
I like both. I think the first one is the classic one. You know, it's set in
well, no,
Chicago.
I
It's
do like
kind of
both
like
movies. I just for some reason as a kid I always preferred the one in New York.
no, but the one in New York is really good. The
I think
thing
that
is,
one's I think that one feels more aspirational because
well,
Sure.
the
he's
thing
moving up
is,
to the big city.
in
Yeah.
my case, I always watch the first one first. So the second one is like Ian saying, you know, it's pretty much a shot, you know, per shot remake. So it feels a little bit repetitive because I watch it. I
Yeah.
usually watch them back to back.
And as a kid when I watched them I didn't care when something was that repetitive. Now I get bored very easily,
I still watch them though. I
which is
love
why
watching those movies.
actually I've been enjoying WandaVision because it has been giving me something new and the fact that it's giving me something to talk about like and speculate on. It's been a while since I've had a show that I've really been able to spend time, thinking what are they going to do next and where is it going to go. Um,
So I guess in that vein, how do you feel about the episodic release versus a Netflix style release where they put up the entire season at once and then you can binge it?
if one of my best friends is watching this, he's going to be posting right now that he absolutely hates that he can't binge it. And
Mhm.
I've argued with him about this, and he will argue with me. It's like, well, you could just watch one episode a week. I want to watch it all at once. And I feel like this show,
What's your opinion?
I feel like this show benefits because people can have a conversation about what's happening within the show.
Yeah.
I think they're taking advantage of that by making and I think the show's episodic nature, the way it's dealt with everything, while it does have a long running story, there is basically a monster of the week situation, which is era of the week almost.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
that it's
The problem with that is that you run out of eras. That's what happened
right.
to
Well, that's why
X-Men.
it's a limited series. It's only going to have one season.
True. Yeah. But they already ran out of eras pretty much. They only have maybe the early 2000s or the late 2000s.
Well, I
Right, but
imagine
how many
we're gonna
episodes are
get.
left?
Well, there's
They still
apparently
have three
yeah.
left.
Because there's 9 episodes total, I think.
Yeah. So
And
basically,
so,
they have 2 episodes that they can't do the era gimmick anymore.
well,
Unfortunately.
it's possible that like you have one more era and then you have a penultimate where something huge happens and then the finale won't be really based in anything.
Oh, that's probably what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my favorite part of the show, actually. That you get to see the different era.
Yeah,
But,
I'm
it is what
gonna
it
be
is.
I think if they were gonna release it through, then you might see more like shifts of eras within shows because I think this is plainly built to be at like weekly. I know
Yeah.
people will want to binge it, but they're really playing on that you're gonna want to talk about things every week. I mean, the cliffhanger from the previous episode on Pietro, like that was meant to be a week long, whoa, what is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't I really don't like the Netflix model. I mean, I like Netflix, but the fact that you have to watch all episodes in one go.
Well, I mean, you don't
um,
have to. It's just that
well, I mean, you have to have them available, right?
Well,
Um,
I think so. There is an issue. I feel when somebody can binge it and you can't, and you want to be part of the zeitgeist of it, like of the moment,
right, you
but
have to watch all.
you have to watch it all right away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could have it spoiled. And I appreciate the fact that everybody has the
We're having
ability to.
internet troubles.
you doing okay there?
Yeah, you're kind of freezing out on this. Uh-oh.
Are you back?
Oh, are you
We're,
are you
we're
guys
no
back?
longer.
What, did
I don't
I
think
go
we're. I don't
somewhere?
think we're recording anymore.
We are. Well, I'm gonna resume it because something happened to my internet, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But it's probably a good time to end it. But I think that's a good question to end it with. I mean, personally, I do like I love the fact that it's. I don't know if I would even watch a lot of these Disney Plus shows if it was just like a Netflix show, because there are so many shows out there, like on Netflix, like it's overwhelming. You have to watch 10 hours of this,
Mhm.
I mean, that's way too much.
I mean, I
Um,
appreciated the Netflix stuff when it's like that for, where it's more of a continuing story every episode. I feel like I appreciate it more for the Netflix animated stuff.
Mhm.
Between their comedies like BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth to She-Ra, which is just like a fantastic quick animated watch, but multiple episodes. That I mean, hell, we got like 5 seasons of that in 2 years, so that was a different.
Right.
Disney is just really they're copying HBO's model, because HBO had HBO Now for a number of years, and now they have HBO Max, and HBO has always been, and it continues to be, one episode a week, and I think that works a lot better. That's my opinion. I mean, I like it a lot better that way.
I feel like television is meant to be consumed in small bits.
Yeah,
It always has been, and we definitely have had a influx of shows where you got everything at once, and people learned to appreciate that because you could watch things in your own time. But I also ended up missing that weekly sort of like intense follow of something I really enjoyed. You know, Amazon's doing the same thing. They recently did that with the most recent season of The Expanse, and I like that, like I can sit down, I can watch the episode, and people can be reacting like to, oh my god, this happened, Whereas if you go online and on a show you can binge watch, it's people reacting to something, you could be worried you're going to be spoiled about the end.
yeah.
Right.
And also, I mean, it takes away a lot of the buildup of
Yeah,
these episodes. Like you have an episode like this episode. This episode would probably be inconsequential to a certain extent. If we had the next one.
right.
Because I mean, it's just a little part of it. But when you have to wait a whole week, now we're gonna, the questions are, what's gonna happen with now that the hex is being expended. What's gonna happen to Vision?
Darcy is now in the hex as
What
well.
decade
That'll
we're
be
gonna get
interesting.
next,
Right.
if we're still gonna get this decade thing. I mean, who's behind it? I mean, there's all these questions that we can ask after each episode that we probably wouldn't be asking these questions if we just saw everything at once. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and I
not
mean,
the same thing.
uh I think it's pretty self-evident in the sense that we wouldn't do a per episode podcast like we are
Yeah.
doing if it were available as an entire season up front.
Yeah,
We
we
would
would
just
do
do the
one
entire
podcast.
season. We would just be like, WandaVision season 1, what did you guys think?
Yeah,
Whereas we've done what, 4 of these now?
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm legit excited to see where it goes, and this has me doubly excited for the other shows they're going to do. Although I think though I'm most excited about She-Hulk, but
Oh, I'm
that's
so
my-
excited for Jenny.
Yeah,
700 pounds of lean green muscle.
Tatiana Maslany.
Yes, I am so excited for She-Hulk, but I think it's
She's
really
probably gonna
interesting.
kill it in that show. Tatiana
Yeah.
Oh,
Maslany is
totally.
so good.
Tatiana muscles. I'm so excited because I think Disney is really bringing back moderation, and I think
Yes.
it helps in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I can get more sleep.
Yeah, I can get more sleep. I don't feel like I have to sit down and like buckle myself in for 3 hours of like watching half of a season.
More like 10 hours.
Yeah, I mean, in some instances, if you're watching like Stranger Things, it's straight up 10 hours.
Imagine that show. Imagine how big that show would be if they released one episode per week.
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it would
yeah.
be like
It would
they
be
could have stretched
huge.
into 10 seasons by now.
it would be huge. It would be
Mhm.
nothing like what it is. Like it's already like a big thing, but imagine if we got like two months of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
It could it could be, you
I
know,
think Netflix definitely
huge.
pioneered the art of like a bingeable season. And I guess I'm glad that competitors aren't trying to do the same thing.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Totally agree.
I feel
mean-
like Netflix did it right for a lot of things, but then also made too many. Like Stranger Things is only 8 episodes. I prefer a bingeable season that's short.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was also like a selling point of Netflix for the longest time was that like, you know, if you were going to watch The Office, you didn't have to watch one episode at a time on broadcast television. You could just watch the whole season and, you know, get caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas that's not really seen as like
that's a
a
good
selling
point.
point so much anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's exactly what it is. That's their whole thing, right? It's a bingeable. That you can binge watch things. You can watch all at once. And at one point that was exciting. That was an exciting concept because people couldn't do that before. Now that people are used to this binge watching thing, it's really not. I mean, people, it's a lot nicer to actually have one episode per week.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely agree that I think, and especially with WandaVision in particular, I think having a one episode per week helps keep it feel more like a television show. Like in a show about television, in a lot of ways, it should feel like television. And I think they very much go out of their way to make every bit of it feel like television. And an episodic release is a big step in that.
Yeah, I'm happier that this is the start of the Marvel Disney TV universe. It's setting in I think a better tone than maybe, you know, because it's the meta TV. It's a TV show about TV as well, and I'm just generally like happier about this, and I hope they stick the landing and it doesn't end up being something that feels silly. But I say that, but then I also am like, but go just leans heavy into your comic book stuff and just swing for it. Don't be afraid to be weird.
Right.
You know, sometimes the over sanitized version of things is just like, it's just somebody trying to swing to hit a single and ends up foul tipping out, to use a baseball metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, I think the over sanitized version gives it a broad appeal, but no niche love.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this show has really foregone the efforts to appeal to everybody by very much sticking to its own thing, and I appreciate that, and I would like to see a lot more of that with Marvel going forward. And I would be willing to wager that they know that they can't continue to make broadly appealing movies anymore that like everybody is willing to go see. I think they realize that they're going to have to pick more of a niche theme, especially with phase 4, where they're going to start rolling out some secondary superheroes, right? We've heard rumors of like a Squirrel Girl movie for the longest time.
Right.
She-Hulk getting love now is great. Like these are all superheroes that like people know of, but like, only a handful of people are really like, man, I love that character.
Yeah, and like you're gonna get the Hawkeye daughter TV series, like that's
right. And I think the mainstream that would have otherwise been appealed to is going to go into it with a different lens, and they're going to appreciate it for its ability to be a love letter to the diehard fans.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
I have a parting thought that will be it's a deep cut. I don't think is going to be, but it ties to the X-Men. That if they surprise me and make the villain be Mojo, I would laugh and enjoy it so much. Mojo's a villain who's basically an interdimensional watch. It basically messes with people of other dimensions as a form of his own television entertainment. And I'm like, if that's a way to be meta about this while bringing in a big time X-Men villain,
that'd be pretty sick, honestly.
Yeah,
Sounds like that would be a good choice.
I just suddenly that hit me. That I was like, oh man, we're talking about a TV show about a TV show.
Hey,
What
you,
the
you gave
villain?
us some really good predictions today, Dan. We'll next week we'll see if you got some of those right.
Yeah.
We're going to be calling you Nostradaniel.
No,
No.
Nostradamus.
I need a mustache.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching, potential viewers. Right now I think we have one person watching us live.
Nice, dude.
That might be me watching us, so I don't know if that really counts. I don't know if it's me or not, but in any case, some people will probably watch this at some point. If you do make it this far, please subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on. So thanks for watching, and we'll do this